Stock Talk. This is your host Scott. Hope you had a good day today. Market down again today. Another big day of down. Over 2,000 points, 2,300 points down. Just doesn't seem like this thing can find a bottom, even though it is hitting that 2018 bottom that we've been talking about. So maybe to finally sink in here at the bottom. But we're going to take a look at, our post-markets, things going on tonight in the market. Take a quick look at our portfolio. And I wanted to talk to you about these 4 ETFs again that I've been buying and kind of show you why I'm buying those things and why, I'm buying them now and not necessarily waiting until this thing settles or anything like that, because I can't pick bottoms. I've been doing this 20 years. I can't pick the bottoms, can't pick the tops, don't claim to. So I start buying when I think it's a good buy, all right? And that's why there's a such thing called cost averaging, because you're not going to usually pick the bottom. So I'm going to show you how that works and how it impacts things. I've got a little spreadsheet I want to share with us to kind of show you some numbers there on these ETFs, and we'll just go through that here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and jump over and take a look at our portfolio. We won't take a long look at it because there's nothing really to look at other than all the red. Then we'll take a look at what's going on in the market tonight. Then we'll jump on that spreadsheet and talk about those ETFs some. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and go over. And here is our portfolio. As you can see, the market was down 2,300 points today. And when the market's down 2,300 points, you can bet everything you own is going to be red just about. So that's just the way it goes. Another tough day in our GBTC. The Bitcoin really got hit hard today, 25% in the day. Then we've got MPC at 27%. Just unbelievable what's happening in the MPC right now with this oil, I guess. But definitely we'll be trying to buy some of that at some point while it's still so low. But that's just, we got to deal with that, and that's all we can do. We just kind of hold on to what we've got. We sure don't want to sell down here at a loss, but this stuff will come back eventually. That's almost guaranteed. So just takes time. So that's where we're at. You can see it's just a really bad day. The best one out of the bunch looks like it might have been maybe some of these ETFs. Yeah, some of the ETFs are 10%, but man, the market was down 10%, so you got to kind of expect a bad day. And we got one. So, all right, let's take a look over here. Let's go on over to our post-market and take a look at what's going on. Looks like we got a lot of red across the board here. Nikkei is down 10% as well, almost. So everything's still dropping. Oil still going down. And let's take our look at our pre-market. Pre-market 500 points down. So looks like another rough day tomorrow. It's going to be tough. We've got to get some clarity on this virus stuff. That's the whole deal. And of course tomorrow's Friday, so I don't expect much out of Fridays anyway. So hopefully we can keep it under 1,000. That would be good. That's a sad state of affairs when you're hoping to keep it under 1,000. But it is what it is, and we just have to deal with it. So, but what I want to do is talk to you about these ETFs. It's the fall from last year, 2018, that is, 12/31. I want to kind of give you a scenario of if you would have purchased these 4 ETFs on that day of that fall, the bottom of the bottom there on that at that time, and how your return would have developed over a 6-month period, over a 1-year period, all the way to the high of this year. And then I want to show you also what cost averaging does if you miss the bottom, okay? Because, like I said, I never make the tops or the bottoms, so I'm not a perfect trader. So I want to show you the effects of cost averaging and how that affects your possible gains in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to that spreadsheet now. And so here's the Dow Jones, okay, on 10/31/2018. It was at a high of 26,951, okay, 26,951. Then 2 months later, we fell 5,500 points, okay, within 2 months. It was quite a fall. It was a 19% drop, almost 20% drop, which would have been a bear territory type drop. We're past that now, so but that's where we're at. So I wanted to show you, these are our 4 ETFs that I've been buying, okay? DIA, SPY, VTI, and QQQ. They all reflect different parts of the market. And so on this day, on the 12/31 drop 2018, you could have purchased DIA at $217. All right? And then 6 months later, this thing was sitting at 266, which would have been an 18.39% gain. 1 year later, that same stock was at $285 a share, a 23.9% gain. Now, and then this year's high, at the time of this high of this year, it hit 296, which was a 26.767% gain. Now, that is if you were a perfect trader, right? If you were a perfect trader and you got in at the very bottom and you sold at the very top, you would have made 26.7%. All right. So that's for a perfect trader. We're not perfect traders. We know that. But hey, you probably could have got anywhere from 18 to 26. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, after a 19% drop, there's a lot of people thinking, I'm not going to get in that market. But you would have missed your opportunity to get in. Okay? So that's, and you don't know when this drop is going to stop. So you got to be buying all, part of the way down at least. And so that's what happened to DIA. SPY, similar story. 234 share on the day of the drop. If you'd held 6 months later, 20% gain. 1 year later, you had a 27% gain. And the high of this year, you had a 31% gain. These are the stocks we're holding now, okay? VTI, the day of the drop, it went down to $128. Here's your story. 15% gain after 6 months. After a year, 22% gain. After the year's high, you got 26.04%. QQQ, another one that we hold, it was 154 the day of that drop. And then it 6 months later was a 17% gainer. 1 year later, you're looking at a 27% gainer. And then the high this year, it was actually 35% gainer. So that's why I'm buying these 4 stocks. Okay, they reflect the market. If this market turns, we're going to have a similar scenario at some point in time. Again, at some point in time. So here's the cost averaging side here. I've got kind of figured out. I want to show you that. Now, I've actually used some very close percentages that I am on these things right now. I'm kind of replaying this drop here because this drop's done, and then we know what happened from that point forward. So we don't know this is all going to happen this time around, but we're going to assume that we're going to have a similar return. It may be twice as long, but eventually we'll probably get this kind of return. So let's say you missed the cost average by about 3%. Okay, you missed the bottom by about 3.7%. This is where I'm at on DIA. I bought it today. We missed the bottom by about 3.7%. So, all right, instead of getting it at 217, back then it would have been a 225 bottom that you purchased at. Okay, all right, but still, after 6 months, you'd had a 15% gain. After 1 year, you'd had a 21% gain. And at this year's high, you'd have still had a 23% gain. Now let's go with our SPY. SPY is the one that we're holding right now. We've missed the bottom on SPY right now by 10.37% so far. Okay, we've missed the bottom by 10.37% so far. So instead of getting it at 234, we would have gotten it, if everything goes around tomorrow, at 258. Okay, so if you got it at 258, you would still have, after 6 months, a 12% gain almost. After 1 year, a 20% gain. And at this year's high, you still would have had a 23.91% gain, even after missing that bottom at 10.37. Now we have cost averages this one once or twice, I think. So, all right, now one we bought shortly after the fall, and we have not cost averaged. You can see the difference here. 23.8% right now that we've missed that bottom. Of course, the market's fallen about 36%, I think it is now. It's a bunch, 30% or so, getting close to it. But anyway, we are 23% from the bottom. So instead of getting it for 128, we got it for 158. All right, so 6 months later, we'd still be down about 5%. Okay, 1 year later, we're going to be up 3.4%. Okay, now these numbers aren't as great, but we've missed the bottom. That's why we need to cost average this one, because we need to cost average it now, and we can get that down somewhere a lot lower than that probably. Okay. And then at the end of this year's high, we had an 8.44% gain. Still not bad. I mean, with a year or so time frame, 8% is not a bad turnaround. Okay. So QQQ, same type story. We're 16% from the bottom. We need to cost average that one again here pretty soon. 3 months later, 6 months later, though, you would have had a 3.61% return. Not bad for 6 months. I'd take that. 1 year later, a 15% return. Nothing wrong with that at all. And then this year's high, you would actually had a 24% gain. So this is why I'm buying these ETFs, because they're going to follow the turnaround. When the turnaround happens, they're going to follow that turnaround. And you can miss the bottom on them. You don't have to get the bottom to have a decent turnaround if it gets a return like it did last time. But the more you cost average, the closer you're staying to that bottom. So the closer you stay to that bottom, that's where you want to be. You want to be close to that bottom as you can be. So you want to cost average things as these things drop. I got a couple there that I need to go ahead and cost average some more. But that's why we do the cost averaging. That's why we don't wait on the bottoms. We start purchasing when we think something is a good price. And so, why wouldn't you? I mean, do you go into a store and something's on sale and you think that's a good price? Do you go, well, I think I'll come back next week and see if it's a better price? If it's a good price, you might want to go ahead and purchase it. If it's a 10% sale, then, that's a good sale. So we never know when these things are going to end. We can't try to time these things, but you can cost average, and that's why you buy the little parts at a time. You just buy a lot here, buy a lot there, and just keep cost averaging on the way down. So that's the way I do it. You do it however you want to do it, but that's the way I've done it for years, and it works pretty good. So we'll continue to do that. I hope this video has helped you to understand that and see that visual a little bit. Maybe that helped. And helps you understand why I'm buying these things now, why I'm not waiting until this thing starts to turn back up, because once it turns back up, you can miss a bunch. It can go up just as quick as it goes down. So, and it's hard to buy when something's going up. It is for me anyway, because I want it while it's down there. So anyway, that's all we have tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you feel like leaving a comment. That's great. Appreciate the comments we've gotten recently. And if you have a friend that that's interested in trading, maybe fairly new at it, just refer them to my first 3 or 4 videos and tell them to take a look at it, see if they'd like to join. But other than that, have a great day tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Probably get back on here maybe sometime this weekend. before we start our week out next week. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll have a better day of trading. Thanks. Bye.
To subscribe, click the button in the right-hand corner. Thank you.